It's the question, right? You see it in headlines, you hear it in meetings, and it's fueling a lot of anxiety. Will AI take my job? It's a simple question, but it might not actually be the right one.
What if we've been framing this whole conversation in the wrong way? Instead of just asking if AI will take our jobs, maybe we should be asking how it's going to change them.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle that big question head-on. Then we'll get into how AI really impacts tasks, not entire jobs. After that, we'll look at productivity, what skills matter now, and we'll finish up with a clear strategy for you to adapt. Okay, let's start with the question itself. The goal here isn't to add to the noise or the fear, but to replace it with a bit of clarity. You know, when you actually look at what's happening, the story is pretty consistent. AI isn't really about eliminating whole professions overnight. It's about augmenting them. It acts as this powerful new tool that changes the work we do within our jobs.
And this brings us to probably the most critical idea for understanding all of this. We need to stop thinking about a job as one big, solid thing. It's much more helpful to see it as a collection of different tasks.
This is what we call task-level automation. So, for example, think about a financial analyst. Their job isn't just analyzing, right? It's gathering data, running reports, interpreting the numbers, and then communicating what they found. AI might completely automate the routine report-generating part, which then frees up the analyst to spend way more time on interpretation and strategy, the parts that really need human judgment.
And this right here, this is the key difference. The fear is about total job elimination, but the reality is much more about task automation. It's a slower, more subtle process where specific parts of our workflow get streamlined, and that in turn reshapes our roles. And the scale of this is pretty broad. Research shows that about 80% of us will see at least 10% of our daily tasks influenced by AI in some way. So yeah, most of us are going to feel this shift. But, and this is a really important but, only about 19% are likely to see a major disruption where over half their tasks are affected. So while the influence is wide, that deep, role-changing transformation is actually much less common. So what happens when all these tasks get automated? Well, this is where things get really interesting. The real risk probably isn't a robot coming for your job. It's a colleague who learns how to use AI to become way more effective.
Just picture it like this. A writer might normally produce one good draft in a morning, but a writer who uses AI for research, for outlines, for first drafts, they might produce 3 distinct versions in that same amount of time, plus some analysis. The human is still in charge, but their output is just amplified.
And this is what experts mean when they say that AI raises the productivity floor. When some people on a team start producing better work faster, that new level of performance slowly becomes the new baseline. It becomes the new expectation for everyone. And that really leads to the core takeaway here. The real competition in the workplace today isn't you against some algorithm. It's professionals who know how to leverage AI versus professionals who don't.
So, if AI is going to handle more of the routine doing, what does that leave for us? Well, it means our value shifts, from just execution to more about oversight and direction.
Our roles are really evolving. We're moving away from simply doing the manual work and moving towards framing the problem for the AI, critically checking its output, and, most importantly, applying our own human judgment to make the final decision.
This means the skills that become the most valuable are the ones that are, well, uniquely human. Things like asking the right questions in the first place, ensuring quality, using your years of experience to see what the AI missed, making ethical calls, and explaining complex ideas to other people.
Now, there is a subtle risk we should be aware of. If we rely too much on these tools, we could fall into something called quiet cognitive erosion. If we stop practicing those fundamental skills ourselves, our own judgment and our confidence can actually get weaker over time.
Okay, let's bring it all together into a clear, actionable strategy. This isn't about panicking, it's just about adapting in a smart way.
So here's a simple checklist. First, get hands-on and learn the AI tools that are actually relevant to your work. Second, don't just specialize in using a tool, specialize in solving a problem. Third, really focus on synthesis, connecting different ideas in new ways. And finally, always treat AI like a very capable assistant, but never forget that you are the director. You make the final call.
And this really captures the perfect mindset. The goal here is not to outsource your thinking. It's to use these tools to amplify your own intelligence so you can operate at a higher level.
So in the end, this is really a story of evolution, not some overnight revolution. Tasks will keep changing, our jobs will adapt, and the people who are proactive, who learn to partner with these new tools, they're the ones who are going to lead the way.
So the final question isn't whether a machine is going to take your job. It's this: how are you going to use these new tools to amplify your work, your skills, and your judgment? Because ultimately, that power is still in your hands.